Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Honest am here, the creator and writer of the Honestly Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And I am here for another daily motivational video. We use the tarot to become the alchemists of our lives and to teach us how to become spiritual beings. A little bit about me. I do not just use the tarot. I use God and cusses in the same sentence, and I may mispronounce some things, but if it don't stop Charlamagne God, it will not stop me. So let's go ahead and get into it. I hope that this message finds you guys well. All right, dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, beings of light, we come to you as humbly as we know how to just say thank you. Now, guardian angels, ancestors, and beings of light, we come to you to ask, what do we need to know today? What would you like to put in the forefront of our minds? In God's name I pray. Okay. Allow no room for doubt or confusion. I'm doing something a little different using these universe cards. I actually really love these cards. I've been pulling them a lot for myself. I told you guys I do like an intuitive yoga flow every day, pretty much. Not every day. Well, I do it like at least once a week, and I've been pulling these cards. And I really, really love the energy that I get from these cards. All right. So the message that came out is be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. This is very simple. I asked this, you may find yourself in a time where you are a little bit confused. Like, I think what we don't talk about enough, angel number 143 in the healing journey, is when there becomes a part of the healing journey where you have to learn how to unlearn things, which it sounds like a mind fuck, but you really have to unlearn things. And your initial reaction may be different than what you normally would do. And recently, one day, I just happened to pick up my Conversations with God book, and I just turned on a page and literally read a passage, and it was talking about how God was telling us, the God in the book, but it was saying how when you are trying to change your life, or you're trying to change your mindset, like your natural reactions, what is going to be very important for you is to do stuff without thinking. The problem is, we initially, your gut reaction is 9 times out of 10 the right reaction. But the problem is, so often we go back, and instead of going with what we initially feel and want to say, we stop, we think about it, and we're like, oh, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's not that. It's just this is a random example, but you have an intuition. Your boyfriend does something, and you immediately you get that intuitive hit, this nigga lying. But then instead of just going off of this nigga lying, you be like, you know what? I'm overthinking and and I'm not thinking too much, and you look down the road 10 years later. You look down the road 10 years later. Come on, you're gonna talk about yourself. God, don't do that to me. You look down the road and you're like, oh, there go that red flag that I saw all those years ago. So I say all that to say that God is saying that you need to be true to yourself. Trust your first instinct, trust your gut reaction, and try not to allow your mind to get in the way so much. The mind is beautiful, it's powerful, but it ain't nothing but a fucking personal Google search engine. So as great as the mind is, sometimes going off of our mind can get us in trouble. So really stay true to yourself and to your gut instincts. The next message that came out is that you have more option. You excuse me. It says that you have options is meaningful. Rock on. That you have options is meaningful. Rock on. And so what God is trying to say is maybe that you have options. Rock on. I'm just going to summarize this and say that you have more options than you realize. So God is saying to trust yourself. Maybe you may have a gut instinct that, you want to move away from a certain type of relationship. But then you're thinking about in your mind oh man, with me and him, we invested so much time. Should I really be doing this? Well, God is saying is trust your initial instincts, because you don't know. We have to understand that we are that little feeling that you get, that's your soul. That is and let's not even call it your soul. That's your God. That thing is your God. That's your higher self. That's that thing that knows before you know. But so often, because we have been conditioned in this society to not trust ourselves, to not trust that gut instinct, you will keep yourself in a position, or you'll just be like, I'm tripping. What God is saying is trust yourself. Let's take this away from relationships, and let's think about, you have this, you're doing something, or you want to create something, and you just had that feeling like, oh, this is it, this is it, this is it, this is something I'm supposed to be doing. But then you'll get in your head, or you'll get on social media, and then you start, then you start comparing yourself to other people, and you're like, oh, I don't do what she do, and mine don't look like this, da 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 da, so I'm not going to do it. You know, so what God is saying, get out your head, trust yourself, go with your gut instinct, because you have more choices than you realize. You have more options than you realize. The last message that came out, this is so funny that this happened to come out here. I'm going to take it, because why was that card in there? Let me make sure ain't no more in there. And this, I think this is very important. There's no such thing as a coincidence. Let me just tell you that. There is no such thing as a coincidence. I was about to say, that's very strange that this one card that's actually a law of attraction card that doesn't have anything to do with this deck was like the next card that's in this deck. And at first I wasn't going to read it, but guess what this card says? It says, angel number 612. Others' opinions are less important than my personal guidance system. And what were we talking about? We were talking about how you have to trust yourself over what you think in your head and what other people are telling you to think. So I'm going to leave this right here, because that is definitely something that we're going to go back to. But I want to go to this message. Change is always good. So angel number 634, maybe the thing that you're thinking about is making a big shift, like whether it is a shift in how you communicate, a shift in your relationships, a shift in how you present yourself at work, a shift in your workout routine, whatever it is, you have this natural instinct that you want to do it. The gut instinct is like, do this. And you know, like, if you do this, it's going to be better. But then you get in your mind and you start worrying, you start comparing yourself, and you're about to talk yourself out of it. God is sending you this message to say, do not talk yourself out of it. You can do it. Stick with it. But the tool that's going to go with this message is, others' opinions are less important than my personal guidance system. You do not intend to use the opinions of others to measure against your beliefs, desires, or actions in order to determine the appropriateness of them. Let's pause. A lot of us don't do certain things because we don't feel like, well, is this right? Is this? Honestly, a big reason why I told my mom I was bisexual, because I just feel like my mom is the type of person that she just talks about gay people. Like, oh, they're so fruity and blah, 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 blah. And like, mind you, I have cousins that are gay. Like, it's really very strange. But anyway, so she would just talk shit about gay people. And like, I felt like a hypocrite. Like, I felt like I was allowing her to talk about this community that I was low-key secretly a part of. And so one day I just told her, like, hey, you know how you talk about gay people? I'm bisexual. And she was like, what does that mean? I was like, I'm attracted to women. I like women. And she's like, would that be that type of woman? And I'm like, okay, man, we're going too deep. But you know, like, but of course I does, like, clearly. But anyway, so it's like, but I didn't have to tell her that, because, well, now it's more acceptable. But my mom is of that generation where you don't say that gay stuff, you keep it indoors, or all of that weird shit, like a lot of shame. But I spoke my truth, because I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to be that type of person that just sit by while somebody is talking shit about somebody or about a community. Like, I just don't like that. I don't tolerate that. And so that's why I said something. Anyways, instead, you knew and still remember long after you were born that it was the relationship between your opinion or knowledge of that from source within you and your current thoughts. And in any moment that will offer you your perfect guidance in that form of your emotional guidance system. I'm going to read this again because I think some of you missed it. Instead, you knew and still remembered long after you were born that it was the relationship between the opinion or knowledge of the source within you and your current thoughts. And in that moment, that will offer guidance of your emotional, that will offer you the form of guidance of your emotional guidance system. So change is good. Your body's telling you that you need to change. That's the emotion that you're getting. God is saying, trust yourself, be true to yourself, go towards whatever your body is telling you to do, because you have more options than you realize. I really can't, I don't know how to like clarify that message anymore, but I do want you guys, I really hope that you guys are understanding this card is probably like one of the most important cards in this deck, because it speaks to us recognizing that the way that you're supposed to move in this world is not based on society standards or family standards, what's appropriate or what's not appropriate. You are supposed to do what your God source told you to do. And that's why it's like, even as crazy as it sounds, like you can't even judge killers or all those other people, because clearly there's something in their DNA that's telling them to do it. So it's like, we have to understand that our soul is here to experience things, and we have to get out of this mindset of what's right and wrong, or how people going to look at me. What is this crazy? Like, you really, I feel like this is like my third time saying this week. You really have to decide what side are you on? Who are you going to live your life for? Are you going to live your life for you and God, or are you going to live your life for the opinions of other people? But there are so many, I have saw the studies and all this other stuff that talks about people being on their deathbed and literally having regrets because they're like, oh, I never did this and I never did that. All because they trying to stick to some dumbass standard that don't even exist. Number 1111. All right, but I'm not going to beat this over, because this is actually a perfect confined message that's just saying to be true to yourself, to trust yourself, trust the information on the inside, because once you do that, it will eventually lead you to trust the information on your inside, because that's how God talks to you, period, point blank, period. Trust the information on the inside, because that's how God talks to you. And if you find yourself not trusting the information on your inside, then you can't be mad at nobody but you, because you're not following your God-given guidance. It's on you. All right. I'm actually going to wrap this message up with Sacred Rebel. I think I don't know why I was so hesitant to do the Sacred Rebel. I don't know, probably because like I feel like this message finished so quickly. Angel number 1227. Okay, dear God, guardian angel, and ancestors, clarify this message of be true to yourself. You have more that be true to yourself. That you have options is meaningful. Rock on. That you have options is meaningful. Rock on. No, okay, God, be true to yourself, knowing that we have more options. Change is good. And how can we just trust our opinion over the opinions of others? Our own opinions over the opinions of others. Allow no room for doubt or confusion. That's our card. Ooh, I love it. So wait, first of all, I love this. Card underneath this, angel number 1316, is come to life. This is angel number 43, breaks down to a 7. Change is good. Highly divine. Remember I told y'all that this card wasn't, I didn't even have to shuffle and this card came out. So this is just letting me know that God wants you to know that you have the power to bring whatever you want to life. And honestly, I feel like this message is coming about because for some of you guys, you're struggling with how to bring certain creations, endeavors, projects to life. And you're like, well, God, I want to trust God. I want to walk in my God-given purpose, but I don't know how to do that. What God is saying is to walk in your God-given purpose, to do the things that God wants you to do, is to just be true to yourself. Is to just follow the voice on the inside, no matter how it looks to the outside world. Because change is always good. So go ahead, don't allow your mind, and this is another, this monkey in here, and this card talks about the monkey mind and not allowing your mind to rule or to, to rule or to overwhelm you. So again, just very, very, this is a very straightforward message that God is just trying to show you that you have the power to become the alchemist of your life, to bring whatever dreams you want about. And it first starts by you being true to yourself and really truly listening to the voice on the inside. And sometimes that voice on the inside is not going to match your mind. And so you'll have that struggle. But what God is saying is that you have to trust your natural gut instinct, no matter how it looks or what other people feel like, because you did not come down here to live your life for anybody else. You came down here to live your life all on your own, okay? Doubling, tripling now. God gave us this message of she feels and she knows. Angel number 22. We know we are in a 22 year. Angel number 15. Come on, God, just keep on bringing it. 22 breaks down to a 4. 4 is all about stable foundations. The angel number 222 stands for right time, right place. So this is just God, just like all of these synchronicities saying like, you can do this, and it first comes by you overriding your mind and trusting that voice on the inside. But don't take my word for it. Let's clarify this message. She feels, she knows. An illumination is erupting from within you as a vision that is bringing what was once obscured into clarity. That is, she feels, she knows. She feels, she knows. An illumination is erupting from within you as a vision that is bringing what was once obscured into clarity. This is not likely to happen as a blinding, shocking insight, but as more of a softer, gentler knowing. It is like knowing something without understanding exactly when or how you came to know it. This insight will assist you, and you are asked to honor it. You will know which insight it is at the right time. Your heart will tell you. You are therefore being asked to rely upon the clarity that is coming to you now or has just recently come. Gently, but firmly from that place of knowing, intend to act and take your next step forward. This oracle comes to you with guidance, particularly about a long-range or long-term developments. Something that is far bigger than an immediate situation, issue, or moment is of importance. Although you will only have a dim sense of that possibility at best, the situation you will find yourself in right now may not be one of joy, but in time you will understand more of the big picture. You will come to see why things are happening as they are, and how you are being helped onto the next stage of your path, even though it may look like an obstacle right now. You're being asked to think in terms of long-term happiness. Sometimes this warrants change, even temporary restrictions in the short term. You are being asked to think in terms of long-term happiness. Sometimes this warrants change or even temporary restrictions in the short term. If you can't see how the present can possibly become what you sense the future to be, this message is essentially relevant. Through the natural process of transformation, great leaps are indeed possible. You simply must be prepared to surrender into the process with absolute trust. This oracle brings you specific guidance. The situation in your current life are particularly geared towards a more significant manifestation that is coming to you, according to your life path and purpose. This is a stage of preparation and of building a foundation that will hold you strong and centered as your creative journey unfolds and your life path becomes more brilliant and luminous. So keep plugging away, remain patient, but most of all, be hopeful and trust in the light you sense ahead of you. For it is the light that is within you, simply revealed more fully. All that is happening now is happening to that end. Angel number 55, angel number 1855. Oh my God, I love this message so much, because what God is saying is that little thing, that little vision that you have, that little hope that you like, I think that this gonna happen. I think that this feels good. What this card is saying, what this message is saying is that it's true. It's right. And all you have to do is just keep following it, keep chasing the light, keep taking those baby steps, keep doing things from a place of love, keep facing your fears, keep showing up, keep believing, keep hoping, keep saying, I'm one day closer to my miracle. and it'll come. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not in the best situation right now. Like, yes, I've had some wins last year, but I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. And I could be frustrated, but for some reason, I just feel so hopeful. I feel like this year is going to be the best year of my life. I feel like I literally feel like I'm like 2 days from my whole life changing. You know, it just feels like everything. I finally have this clarity that I'm on my path. And if it's the first time that you ever came on this channel, there's a message on here that speaks to the vision being the answer to the prayer. So often we pray to God, God, change my life. God, get me out this job. God, help me. God, send me love. And then we'll get an intuitive prompt. We'll get something that God challenges us to do to get us closer to that thing that we ask him for. But the problem is, so often we don't do it. We allow our mind to get in the way. We start overthinking it. And we like, no, I'm tripping. This isn't for me. This isn't the best thing. And what God's saying is, no, it is for you. You are not tripping. This is supposed to happen for you. You are supposed to do it this way. Trusting your intuition is not going to be pretty. It's not going to feel good all the time. Sometimes it's scary. But what you have to know is you have to trust that voice on the inside. And you have to trust yourself. And you have to know that God only wants the best for you. Okay? All right. So if that is your hope and wish, put your hand on your heart and repeat after me after I say this. I feel the light of all that I am and all will be. I feel the light of all that I am and will be unfolding from within me. I surrender what is into the fire, the loving fire of transformation, the light of which illuminates the present and manifests the future in the highest creative expressions of unconditional love. I feel the light of all that I am and will be unfolding from within me now. I surrender what is into the loving fire of transformation, the light of which illuminates the present and manifests the future in the highest creative expressions of unconditional love. I feel the light of all that I am and all that I will be unfolding from within me now. I surrender what is into the loving fire of transformation, the light which illuminates the present and manifests the future in the highest creative expressions of unconditional love. Ashe. All right, y'all. That is all the messages I have for you. If you made it to the end of this message, give me a thumbs up. If you made it to the end of this message, you are not subscribed. And if you made it to the end of this message, you are confused. The answer to the moral of the story and the answer to this video is to be true to you. Trust that voice on the inside. Don't allow fear or your mind to lead you. And change is always good. All right, y'all. See you next week.